Welcome to the exploration of Nigeria's most persistent and frankly misleading narrative that the Igbos don't sell land to foreigners. Today, we explore the heart of the Southeast to examine the roots of this myth, the realities on ground, and what it means for investors, diaspora, and the Igbos themselves. We look at the history, culture, commerce, custom, and contradict the claim with evidence, because in the age of global investment, mist costs real money and hampers progress. Let's begin. In conversations across Nigeria, one claim echoes repeatedly: Igbo people don't sell land to outsiders. It is a statement often delivered with confidence, sometimes with suspicion, and occasionally with resentment. But what if this long-standing narrative is built not on fact, but on misunderstanding? Welcome to Igboland, a region shaped by history, culture, resilience, and one of the strongest ethnic identities in West Africa. Here, land is not merely soil and stones. It is lineage, it is memory, it is where ancestors were buried and where generations are expected to return. In this documentary, we examine the roots of a powerful narrative. We look beyond hearsay and into the cultural, geographic, and economic realities that shape land ownership across the Southeast. Because behind every myth lies a story, and behind every particular myth lies a deeper truth about a people whose relationship with land is far more complex and more open than many realize. This is the story of perception versus reality, the story of scarcity, culture, and modern economics. This is the story of Igboland. The Igbo concept of land is deeply rooted in what is called Allah, the earth, the ancestral terrain. According to custom, land belonged to the lineage, Umunna, and was held in trust, with the oldest male managing its welfare for all. Selling such land outright was uncommon, because the land was not just property. It was the site of births, of burials, of ancestral shrines. The idea of giving up one's birth site posed a spiritual question. However, as colonialism, migration, and cash economies entered Igbo land began to shift from purely communal to parcels owned by individuals, businesses, and non-Igbo actors. This set the stage for modern real estate market. Thus, when someone says Igbos don't sell land, we must ask, which land? Ancestral land, communal land, private urban plots, and under what conditions? Let's go deeper. In many Igbo communities, the land was allocated for farming, housing, compound space, but always within the group. The Obara Umunna, eldest male of the lineage, acted as custodian. Selling was possible only when the land was private or when the lineage gave consent, and even then, restriction often applied to avoid sale of the alobi, the father's compound. With urbanization, towns like Onitsha, Abia, Enugu saw increasing real estate demand. Non-indigenes and companies participated in land purchase and development, so the system evolved, communal, industrialized, commercial. Recognizing this evolution is key to understanding the myth. Let's look at real-life examples. In Abia State, major cities like Abia and Umuahia host Yoruba and Hausa individuals who own houses and plots of land. One Hausa elder in Abia said, those saying Igbos don't sell land to non-natives are economical with retreats after owning property there. Another article quotes the traditional ruler of a village in Ebonyi State. We have sold land to Hausas Yorubas, Idomas, Edos. We don't discriminate as long as you have interest and money. These testimonies illustrate land transactions are happening, and to outsiders, the condition is you go through the proper channels, meet the landowners, respect the process. To understand the tension around land in the Southeast, one must begin with geography and numbers. The Southeast is Nigeria's smallest geopolitical zone by landmass. 5 states, Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, and Imo, all fitted into a space smaller than many individual states in the north. But within this limited land area lives one of the most densely populated regions in the entire country. From the busy streets of Onitsha to the sprawling suburbs of Owerri, the pressure on land is immense. Here, land is divided among families, villages, clans, and lineages, stretching across generations. With every new birth, every new marriage, and every new returning family, the demand increases, while the land itself remains the same. Unlike regions with vast terrains and wide open plains, Igboland operates within natural limits. It is a region where every square meter counts, not because of ethnic preference, but because there is simply not enough land to go round. This is the first truth often missing from the national conversation. What appears as refusal is often simply scarcity. The Southeast does not have the luxury of vast unused land waiting to be purchased. Much of it is already claimed by families, tied to ancestral compound, and reserved for future generations. In understanding this reality, we begin to see why land transactions here often follow a pattern different from those in other parts of the country. Scarcity creates value, and in Igboland, that value is visible in the price of land. The Southeast is home to one of the most successful diasporas in Africa. Millions of Igbo people living in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Europe, America, and across the world are constantly investing back home. From modern duplexes rising in village compounds to massive estates expanding their edges of Enugu and Owerri, land is in continuous demand. This high demand, combined with limited supply, results in one inevitable outcome: expensive land. But price is only part of the story. To understand the complexity, we must consider culture. In many Igbo communities, ancestral land is more than property. It is identity. Selling a portion of it requires the agreement of multiple family members, and often the blessing of the lineage elders. These are not mere bureaucratic steps. They are cultural safeguards meant to preserve heritage. And yet, outside the ancestral compound, a very different picture emerges. Urban land in Igboland is bought and sold every day. Developers acquire plots, diaspora families build, and yes, non-Igbo Nigerians and foreigners purchase land legally and openly. Still, the perception persists. They don't sell land to outsiders. But the economics tells a different story. In cities like Enugu and Owerri, land prices rival or exceed some parts of Lagos. When a plot costs millions, people assume exclusivity, when the real issue is affordability. The myth is not that Igbo refuse to sell land. The reality is that land is expensive, competitive, and often tied to cultural protocols that require patience and proper negotiation. Behind every transaction is a process, not a bias. Why then does this myth persist so strongly? Several reasons. Confusion between communal ancestral land, which is rarely sold, and private land, which is. Instances where non-indigens face bureaucratic or negotiation hurdles leading to generalization. Ethnic or regional narratives that weaponize land to exclude or scare off investment. For instance, on one occasion, Reuben Abati stated that Igbos don't sell land to outsiders. The reaction was fast and angry. But even within that case, the nouns he was referring to a particular plot of lineage land, not all land scooping matters. Also, historically, many Igbos have left their region to invest elsewhere. Fewer outsiders come to buy land in Igbo areas. So in practice, you may see fewer foreign buyers and assume refusal. But the case is less about refusal and more about investor behavior. Meat impact. It discourages investment, fuels mistrust, and becomes self-fulfilling. Let's move to what it means in practice. Today, Igbo region offers fertile ground for investment, real estate, retail, industry. For a non-Igbo or foreign investor, the key takeaways: identify whether you are buying ancestral, communal land, or private urban plots. Engage local chain of title landowner, lineage consent, local government records. The myth of refusal is less about ethnicity than about clarity of ownership and process. In Abia State, non-indigens already own land in prime locations. This shows openness in practice. For diaspora Igbos returning home, this narrative is also an obstacle. You might think land is unavailable, but you may just need to navigate local customs. Always ensure documentation, survey, community consent. Consider states and local government regulations. Custom laws still matter strongly in Igboland. Seek urban, semi-urban plots where demand exists. Collaborate with local partners. Respect community norms. And now we return to the question at the center of this documentary. Do Igbo people truly refuse to sell land to outsiders? After journeying through the geography, culture, and economics of the Southeast, a clearer truth emerges. It is not ethnicity. It is not hostility. It is not a war against foreigners. It is scarcity. It is ancestral responsibility. It is the pressure of a growing population living within a fixed space. It is the natural consequence of a region where the land is finite and the value placed on the family heritage is immense. Outsiders do buy land in Igboland. Non-Igbo families own properties in cities across the region. Foreigners purchase land through legal processes every year. But these stories are often overshadowed by the louder, simpler narrative, the myth that Igbos don't sell land to foreigners. As we conclude, one truth stands firm. Understanding a people requires understanding their context. Igboland's relationship with land is a story of identity, of survival, of continuity, and yes, of openness. If this documentary has challenged your assumption, broadened your view, and deepened your understanding, share it. Let the myths give way to facts. Let perception give way to reality. And let dialogue replace division. The statement, Igbos don't sell land to foreigners, is not accurate. In the broad sense, what's true is certain lineage and ancestral lands are treated with caution, sold only under strict condition, but private commercial plots in Igbo region are sold to non-Igbo, to foreigners, and to companies. The myth persists because of misunderstanding of customs, because of fewer non-Igbos taking up offers, not because of blanket refusal, and because of the narratives that serve political or commercial ends. For you, the viewer, if you are a foreigner non-Igbo or diaspora looking to invest, Igboland is not closed. The doors are open. You just need to bring respect, legitimacy, and clarity. And for the Igbo, dispelling the myth helps your region attract investment, dispel ethnic tension, and reclaim narrative control. Thank you for traveling with me through this journey. If you found value, please like, subscribe, share, especially with those who believe the myth. Let's build bridges instead of walls. Until next time, thank you.
T.O.S. Benson's in-laws and Biri people. Now, when I marry your daughter and I come to you for land, should you look at me as a possible source of income, or should you consider the fact that my daughter is in your custody? In fact, rather than sell land to you, I'll give one to you. The closer my daughter is, the easier it is for me to be sure she's being well taken care of. So for the record and for all of us, Biri people gave land, donated land to Chief Benson Atori Biri, which he used, in fact, at his own discretion to construct a post office for the people, and the structure is still there. So recontextualization. I've also presented counterfactual that the man actually has land donated to him. I will add that the former director of works at the Federal University of Technology in Owerri has land in Owerri that he bought. That's where he lives. He's a farmer today. If you go to Owerri, you have the Rotibi Street off Douglas Road. That street is named after a Yoruba man who back then bought practically the entire area. He was a great entrepreneur. Those the Igbo people who own lands in those areas bought it from him. Then, of course, you recall that Umoru Atine Alaji was a mayor of Enugu sometime in the 60s, or was it 50s now? He was also in charge of land allocation. Igbos didn't meet and selling, don't sell to outsiders. If you go to Enugu today, the one area, Garki area, people from all over the country have land there. So there's, I think even for me personally, when I watched the controversy, I said, thank you, Ruben, because this has thrown up a matter on which there should be national discourse. More people will gain information. I will all be the better for it. That's the essential point. The second one is about land generally. Why is it that people have land elsewhere? Because there's business elsewhere. Tell me, what federal establishments do you have in Enugu, in all over the southeast, that will make me leave my place in Yoruba land to come and buy land? Is it to be a villager? So we must also see the connection between national infrastructure, national institutions, national political headquarters, etc. The limited absence of that in the southeast makes the land there totally unattractive for anybody to procure. Why are Igbos buying up lands in Lagos? Because they need it. And I speak from some involvement in what's going on at that in the area of business. Little Road used to be made up of a couple of tiny bungalows. The same with Enowa Street. Go to Enowa today, there's no building there that's less than 2-story buildings. Check the history, you'll find out that it was the traders who went to negotiate with most of the people. Allow me build a 2-story building here. I will use it for warehousing. You live in part of it. After 10 years, it becomes yours and I begin to rent. And I speak because I know those who did that, some of them who were direct relations. That's how most of those places got built up. You may also recall that Ndubisi Kanu, an Igbo man at a point he was governor, actually met with the people, called them to a meeting and said, stop selling land, do leases, make this arrangement. That's when this alternative thing came up. An Igbo man will not go to Nnewi and build a 2-story building to store his things because there's no port near him. He'll be throwing his money away. So all of that, you can take it into account. Why will I leave Kanu to come and buy land in Imo State or in Anambra State? Am I on drugs? There is nothing going on in those places. So the political economy of the Nigerian state, now putting all of that aside even, let's pretend all of this doesn't exist. National infrastructure. The rail system of any nation is at the arteries of that country. Do you have rail in Nigeria? Yes. Do you have it in the southeast? No. Did you used to have it in the southeast? Yes. How did some of us know places like Saminaka, Kajuru, Lafia, etc.? It was because we traveled by road. Putting that aside as well, let's come to the issue of land. You say, land holding system. No, I'm not going to talk about land holding system, but I'm going to talk about personal experience. The land is not available. You go to most places in the southeast, you find that people bury in their compounds. My parents are no more. One of my sisters is no more. They are buried in the old family compound. My cousin Ide has a section of his land he uses for that. So there are other things to be understood. The land is not available. Where is available and you want to buy it, you buy. Go to Onitsha. Onitsha Business School is owned by Shogbeson. Professor Shogbeson is a Yoruba man. He started it in 2010. So it's not like saying, it's only in the 60s, These days, they are not doing it. Today, it is thriving as one of the best business schools, working with the people.